one, by now we all know that masculine men are more solution oriented. They're problem solvers. So they're kind of wired to kind of focus on what the problem is so they can find a solution, so they can fix it. You know, they feel more purposeful, more useful, more needed when they are capable of doing this, right? And so they don't really focus on something that is already fixed. If the problem has already been solved, they don't give a lot of attention to it. It's the same thing like going to work and you have all of these different tasks. Once you've completed this task and it's done, you go on to the next one. You don't keep focusing on the one that you just did, right? How this applies in relationships is a man might come to his woman and say, I need you to work on this. I need you to fix this. I need you to make this change. I need you to grow in this area, right? And the woman will put in all of this effort and she'll make all these changes, all these adjustments, and she'll be so proud of herself, and she'll be looking for some acknowledgement of growth. She'll be looking for some appreciation, and instead she's met with, okay, now you need to work on this. You know, he doesn't really focus on what has been fixed. He focuses on another problem that needs to be solved so that they can keep completing tasks and keep growing and keep moving forward, right? And so like I mentioned in my last video, that can make women feel like I'm never going to be good enough for him. Nothing I do is ever enough. You know, he doesn't appreciate my growth. He doesn't acknowledge that I'm growing. But to a man, it's like, why do I need to focus on what's being fixed? I need to focus on what we need to work on so that we can keep growing. A lot of women really don't understand that. With the masculine, they kind of are designed to focus on something that needs to be fixed. Again, that does help them feel more competent and capable as men when they are able to complete tasks and overcome challenges, and so that is kind of a part of it, you know. So work on that. Now, please do not misconstrue my words. In no way, shape, or form am I insinuating that a woman should just accept the fact that a man does not acknowledge her growth, because it's nothing wrong with just saying, I appreciate you putting in the effort. I acknowledge that you're trying to make these changes. There's nothing wrong with that, right? But it does help to have a better understanding, so that way women won't take things so personally. And that's the issue, is that a lot of women do take it personally and just feel like I'm not ever going to be good enough, when that really is not the case. Number 2, many women have concerns when the man that they're in a relationship with gets upset with them because she does not share the same opinion or perspective that he does on something, right? And a lot of times women will say, well, he just wants me to agree with everything that he says. He doesn't want me to be able to think for myself. And you should, as a woman, be able to think for yourself. You should have a mind of your own. You should have discernment. You should be able to form your own opinions. Absolutely. At the same time, though, if you are in a relationship with a mature masculine man and he is considering having you in his life, you got to understand, men think more towards the future, whereas when you're in your feminine, you're more in the present moment, okay? And so if he is considering making you his wife or being with you long term, then you got to understand that your opinion or your perspective is a reflection of your mentality. Your mentality is what's going to raise his children. Your mentality is what's going to kind of represent him, because your mentality plays a role in how you behave, how you dress, where you go, who you hang out with. And when you're out there doing things, you are a reflection of him. You do represent him. So your opinion and your perspective of things today, in his mind, might look like in the future misrepresenting him, you know, or messing up his reputation that he took years to build. You know what I mean? It's going to determine certain decisions that you're going to make in the future that might impact his life. So you got to understand, masculine men, they really do think a few steps ahead of the game. They're usually not just in the present moment. Number 3, this one I've spoken about before. A lot of women really do not understand that masculine men, when they get into a space during conversation where they're already a little frustrated, they're already a little irritated, they're kind of getting impatient, they are not interested in your explanation or your clarity in that moment. When he's calm and you're able to have that effective communication where he's in that problem solving mode and he's listening, yes. But when he's not trying to really hear you, he does not care about getting clarity. The only thing he wants to hear in that moment is that you acknowledge that what you did was wrong and what it is you plan to do moving forward to prevent this from recurring, right? Whatever the situation was. We want clarity. We want men to be able to give us an understanding. So we feel like they want the same from us. And so we'll try to explain, well, this is why I did this. And you doing this made me feel like this. And we'll try to explain things, but he's not trying to hear that. He just wants to know that you are being responsible for what you did. He might want an apology. And he just wants to know, what are you going to do differently from now on? I don't care about why you did it. Forget your clarity. Forget your explanation. You justifying. You're spinning is what they call you, spinning. I just want to know what you're going to do differently. That's it, Number 4. This one is kind of similar to the last one, actually, when I think about it. And that is, oftentimes women want to hear certain words from their man. They want to hear, I love you, I appreciate you, or I only want you, babe, or they want to hear stuff like that. But, that stubbornness in a man. Sometimes he just will refuse to just say these simple things, but a man's actions does speak louder than words. And a lot of times women will allow themselves to feel down, and they'll feel like, oh, he doesn't love me, or he doesn't appreciate me, or he doesn't want me, or he's thinking about leaving me, and they'll start thinking all of these negative thoughts, when all they have to do is just pay attention to his actions. Is he still doing things that shows you he loves you? Is he still trying to provide guidance? Is he still trying to teach you things? Is he still trying to do the best he can to relieve stress from you and take burden up off of you? If he's still trying to protect you, are his actions showing you that he cares, that he loves you, right? And this, to me, again, the reason why I say it's similar to the last one, because so much of this could be solved by a man just simply saying little small, I love you, I care about you, I just want you, I'm not going nowhere. It's very simple. It's not going to take away from your masculinity or your manhood or your manliness in any way to just say that. But at the same time, though, ladies, it is important to not take that personal and just really pay attention to his actions, because men that are masculine are not always going to be the most romantic. Unfortunately, they're not always going to be the most lovey-dovey. A lot of times they're too focused on doing what they need to do to make sure you're okay. And that is one of the ways they show you that they love you, through their actions. And so it's important for you to pay attention to that, because if not, it's going to be a whole bunch of, you're not prioritizing me, you don't love me, blah, 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 when that's not even the case. So that is something a lot of ladies don't understand about masculine men also. His actions are going to always speak louder than his words. And the 5th thing that a lot of ladies don't understand about masculine men is the fact that men don't care about our emotions. Now, there are a multitude of reasons why men don't care. Of course, the most common reason is because it lacks logic. Something else that a lot of men don't really express openly to their women, as far as why they don't care about a woman's emotions sometimes, is because it makes us seem selfish. It's usually always just about us. A man doesn't really have that privilege to come out and say, I feel. You're going to look at him like a... So you can be very draining with all of that. I'm feeling this or I'm feeling that. Sometimes you need to just chill for a second and just focus on him. Like, what do you need? How are you feeling? How are things going for you at work? How are things affecting you? This is something that is going to help him reciprocate and care more about how you feel when he sees you actually care about him and you're treating him like a human being with feelings, and not like he's a robot that is just supposed to just go and do for you all the time,